Hari Om. Welcome back to Story Time with Gitanjali. Today I am going to tell you the story of another avatar of Lord Vishnu. And this is seen in the episode of Samudra Manthana. What is Samudra Manthana? It is the churning of the Kshira Sagara or the ocean of milk in which Lord Vishnu rests. And why did this happen? Well, the story begins when once sage Durvasa, he is a great renowned sage, he was returning from Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is the abode of Lord Vishnu. And whom did he see on the way? He saw Indra. As you know, Indra is the king of the Devas, the king of Swargaloka. Now, like all holy sages, Sage Durvasa decided to give prasad to Indra. And what could he offer? He was just coming back from Vaikuntha, so he had a garland of flowers in his hand and he offered that to Indra. Now Indra, instead of accepting it most reverentially, like how we should accept prasad, he just gave it to his elephant. As you know, Indra used to be lost in his pride. Indra was very proud that he was the lord of the three worlds, the king of Swargaloka, the king of Devas. And so he would very often forget his manners. And the elephant, not knowing better, just flung the garland to the ground and trampled it with its feet. Sage Durvasa, seeing this, got so angry that he cursed Indra. He said, "Oh Indra, you are proud of your glory today. You will lose all of this in no time. You will lose your tejas, which means brilliance. You will lose your strength. And soon you will realize how you have done a big mistake." And Indra felt himself draining out. The color started fading, his energy started ebbing. And no sooner had all this happened that when the Asuras, who were always waiting for a chance to defeat the Devas, come to know about this, and when they attacked, the Devas started losing. They lost so heavily and they could see no respite because now Indra, the king, had become very dull. All because of Durvasa's curse. So now Indra went to Lord Brahma. Brahma was sitting on Mount Meru, which is his abode. And as Lord Brahma was meditating, Indra and the Devas went there for help. But Lord Brahma said, "That's such a grave mistake. You do not know how to accept a prasad with the right decorum. Only Lord Vishnu can help you now. But don't lose heart. For whoever prays to Lord Vishnu with true devotion, Lord will always come to your help." And so Brahma also accompanied them and everybody set out to meet Lord Vishnu. Now Lord Vishnu is the all-knowing one. He really did not need the Devas to explain the situation. So he just smiled when Indra came to him. And Lord Vishnu told Indra that there is a solution, but you have to swallow your ego. You have to go and make peace with your enemies, the Asuras. Now, the Devas and the Asuras were in fact cousins. Devas were the sons of Aditi, while Asuras were the sons of Diti. Both were wives of the great sage Kashyapa. But because they used to always keep fighting and always at war with each other, the Devas and the Asuras used to use all their time and energy in this futile effort. Lord Vishnu smiled and said, "There is a solution, but you have to make peace with the Asuras. Now, what you have to do is go and approach the Asuras and ask them for help. and you have to churn the great milky ocean. And from the depths of the ocean, the Amrita or the nectar of immortality will come out. When you take that, you will become strong once again. See, when you lose your strength, don't you go to the doctor to get some tonic? Well, this was the tonic advised by Lord Vishnu for the weak Devas. But Lord Vishnu told them, see, you may have to accept any condition put forth by the Asuras. Please do not give vent to desire, anger, or feelings of revenge when you look at them. There will be many tempting things that come out of the ocean, but please keep patience and have faith in me. And so the Devas agreed, and they went to meet King Bali. Now King Bali was curious. Was this a trick? Was this a ploy? Why were the Devas coming towards him? But being wise, he waited for Indra to put forth his proposal. And on hearing this, Bali also got excited. He said, we too want Amrita. We too want the nectar of immortality. We are ready to help you if we both will get a share of that. And Indra readily agreed because he remembered Vishnu's words. Now, how were they to churn the ocean? An ordinary churning rod would not do. Have you seen your mother churning buttermilk and taking out the butter? There is a churning rod and a churning rope. And Lord Vishnu had told them to use the great Mandarachal mountain as the churning rod. And none other than Vasuki, the king of serpents, as the churning rope. And Lord Vishnu had also assured Vasuki that he would not get hurt by the rough edges of the mountain as he was moved back and forth along the mountain edges. And so the Devas and the Asuras set out to bring the mountain Mandarachala to the seashore. They dug and they scraped and they pulled and they pushed, and it took so much energy that the Asuras and the Devas were left panting for breath. And Vishnu smiled. He said, I have to help them here also. So he went on Garuda, went to the Mandarachal mountain. He placed the mountain on Garuda's back and flew towards the seashore. And now the Asuras and the Devas hurried after them and reached the shore to begin the churning of the Samudra. Now, there was another instruction. Just before they begin churning, they had to put the herbs, the plants, the creepers and all good ingredients into the ocean to bring out the Amrita from the bottom. And so once all these things were put inside the ocean, the churning was about to begin. But who would stand where? The Asuras formed a row on one side, the Devas formed another row on another side, and the Devas stood at the head end of the snake Vasuki. Now the Asuras, always looking for a chance to fight with the Devas, they said, this must be a trick. They said, we do not want to stand near the tail. It is so indignified. We will stand near the head end. And smilingly, the Devas agreed because they knew what was going to happen soon. So now the Devas were at the tail end of Vasuki, the Asuras were at the head end of Vasuki, and they were about to begin the churning when suddenly the mountain started disappearing from their sight. Down and down, lower and lower, it sank into the ocean. Even the strength of Vasuki was not enough to hold the mighty mountain in its place. Now, the Asuras and the Devas, they just stood spellbound. They were dumbstruck and clueless. But Lord Vishnu could hear the prayers even if they weren't said out aloud. So, he came in the next avatara, the great giant tortoise or the Kurma avatara, and he went to the base of the ocean, went under the Mandarachal mountain and raised it up on his body. And as you know, the tortoise has a very tough shell, and when it is Lord Vishnu himself, you can imagine the capacity to bear weight. And throughout the churning of the ocean, throughout the Samudra Mantana, the great Kurma Avatara took the weight of the mountain and remained there till the very end. Now the Asuras and the Devas began churning with fresh vigor. But what happened? Suddenly, from the mouth of Vasuki, fumes started coming out. The Vasuki snake started emitting poisonous gas, and the Asuras started choking. Even the Devas were affected, and Vishnu had to show his compassion once again. He sent clouds and rain and wind, and all the pollution just disappeared. And they began churning once again. To and fro, back and forth, again and again. But the first thing that came out was a terrible poison called Hala Hala. See, there were so many impurities inside the ocean, and whenever you churn anything, all the impurities will come out first. Even when you churn your mind and start thinking deeply, all the negative things will come out first, and finally the positive Amrit will emerge. And so it was in this Samudra Mantana. The Hala Hala poison was so strong that the three worlds started choking. Animals started running helter-skelter. The plants and trees started withering, and the Devas and the Asuras lost consciousness. Now who could help? And there was only one person who can consume even the mightiest of all poisons and not get affected. So Lord Brahma and the Devas and the remaining Asuras went to Lord Shiva and begged him to save them. Now Lord Shiva is the most compassionate one. He could not bear to see them suffering. So he agreed, and he just cupped up the entire poison in his hands and he drank the entire Hala Hala. The throat of Lord Shiva became blue because of the poison. But before it could go deeper, his wife, goddess Parvati, placed her hand at the base of his neck and prevented the poison from going down. But Lord Shiva would not spit out the poison either. He did not want the creation to suffer. And so he retained it in his neck, because of which we call him Lord Neelakantha. Boliye Neelakantha Bhagwan ki Jai. And now, because the Devas and the Asuras were relieved, they came back to the seashore and resumed the churning of the milky ocean or the Kshira Sagara. Now, do you know there is another word for Samudra or the sea, and that is called Ratnakara. Ratnakara means the one who holds innumerable Ratnas or gems. And thus, even when the Samudra Mantana was going on, the gems started coming out. But what came first? First thing to emerge out was the great celestial cow called Kamadhenu or Surabhi. And the first gift should always be given to the holy men or the rishis. And Lord Brahma decided to give the cow to all the sages so that they could use the cow for all the yagna. The cow would provide milk and ghee to be used for the rituals. After this cow, there was a splendid, spotless, white animal that emerged with 7 heads. And it was the horse Uchchaishravas. Now the Asuras, greedy as ever, said, "This is ours," and snatched it for themselves. King Bali kept this horse. But the Devas remembered Vishnu's instructions and kept churning. What came next was the great white elephant Airavat. Now the Asuras knew they could not keep claiming everything that came out, so they allowed the Devas to keep Airavat, and Indra took the Airavata for himself as his mount. And they began churning once again. Soon gems started coming out, beautiful, precious gems from the depths of the ocean. And out of that, the most spectacular one was the Kaustuba gem. Now everybody decided that the Samudra Manthana was because of Lord Vishnu's grace, and they presented the Kaustuba gem to Lord Vishnu. And then the churning continued. Soon a tree emerged, which was the Parijata tree. The flowers would never wilt or wither, and Indra took it with him to keep it in the heavens. And the churning began once again. Everybody, remember, was waiting for the Amrita, but they were spellbound at the precious things that would come out, at the secrets that the Samudra was unraveling in front of their eyes. This was really the greatest manthan of all times. After some time, suddenly the Devas and the Asuras held their breath. They were captivated. There was a pure, divine, beautiful lady emerging out of the waters. She held a garland of lotus flowers in her hand, and they started praising her. They started singing hymns because they could not control themselves. Such was the beauty and the purity of this divine lady. Can you guess who she was? She was none other than Goddess Lakshmi. And Goddess Lakshmi, of course, went and put the garland of flowers around Sri Vishnu's neck. And everybody sang, Boliye Lakshmi Narayan Bhagwan ki Jai. Now, the Devas and the Asuras were still captivated. They could not believe their eyes at the gems and the precious treasures that kept coming out of the Samudra. But there was more to come. What happens next will be seen in the second part of the story next week. So, keep guessing, keep listing out what are the treasures that a Samudra can possibly hold. Keep wondering, did the Devas get Amrita? Did the Asuras also manage to take some portion of it? Who won? And what was Lord Vishnu's role in the next part of the story? If you like this story, do share it with your friends. And until we meet again, Hari Om.